Growing up in Melbourne, Australia, I know a lot about the wind. Right down the southern part of Australia, the wind comes off the South Pole, it's a cold wind and it really affects the ball. The wind comes from the north, it's a hot wind. And we learn to play all these different types of shots in Australia. So I have a few ways that I could keep the ball low. I want to keep the ball closer to the ground. The closer the ball goes to the ground, even in its flight, the more control I feel I'm going to have of it. So for this shot behind me, I'm about 180 yards away from the hole. I'm going to hit a 5-iron. It's normally a 6-iron distance. I'm going to start off with a 5-iron. I've got a little bit of breeze here, not too much, good 10-15 miles an hour, so it is going to have an effect on the ball. So let me show you the first way that we can learn to keep the ball down in the wind and have better control of it. So this shot, it's a 6-iron yardage for me, it's about 180 yards. What I want to do is take the spin off the ball. If I try and hit a 6-iron too hard against this little bit of breeze, I will overspin the ball and it'll fly up into the air and probably come up short. So the first thing I can do is take a 5-iron and make a nice smoother swing. So I'm not going to do too much extra special with this shot. I'm going to keep the same ball position. I'm basically going to make the same swing, but all I'm doing is taking a 5-iron instead of a 6-iron and making that smooth swing. So I'm not hitting too hard down on the ball and producing a lot of upspin. So same ball position, everything the same, just a nice smoother swing to keep the flight down. And it should go the same as my 6-iron yardage, even with a little bit of wind in our face. Now the second way we can try and play this lower shot under the wind, closer to the ground, more control, would be to move the ball back in our stance. So obviously if that was our normal ball position, if I move the ball back, I'm going to have a little bit more descending blow and I'm going to de-loft the club. If this is my normal ball position for 5-iron, let's move it back a good 1.5 to 2 inches. That's going to make the loft of this club become a little bit less, and the beauty of that is, again, it's going to keep the ball down, so out of the elements, out of the wind, so I have control of the ball. So there is one little adjustment we have to make when we move the ball back in our stance. So if this is my normal ball position, as I swing, my release and everything matches up, and I'll have the club face reasonably square, and as you can see, I'm aligned reasonably square. As soon as I move the ball back a little bit, however, if I keep my square stance, I'm not actually releasing the club back too straight at the target. The face will be pointing a little bit right, and that can cause issues. So the adjustment we would make is, moving the ball back in our stance, we would open up our alignment just a little bit, and now as we swing, because my body is cleared out of the way, my path then becomes square again. So I'm not changing the alignment. I'm not going to slice it because my stance is open. All it's done is put my feet in an alignment to my ball position, so I can still get the square shot and get the nice hit. And this is a shot that I use often. So from the start, instead of our normal ball position, we're going to move the ball back 1.5 to 2 inches to take a little bit of loft off this club. As a result of that, because the ball will normally start right now because we've altered our ball position, I have to actually shift my alignment a little bit further left so I can get that ball to still start on the target line. From there, I've set up in the right position to be able to make all this happen. All I have to do is go ahead and make my normal swing. There's a low bullet, perfectly judged right at the flag. My alignment I set up differently to suit my ball position, kept the ball low, kept it out of the wind. Now I've got a really good shot at birdie. Now the third way I could play a low shot would be, on the way through, I want to feel like my hands and the club stay quite low. So this would be more like a punch shot. and the punch shot tends to work better with the shorter clubs than the longer clubs, but we can do it with the longer ones also. That's why this would be my least favourite option for the low shot with a longer club. So we aren't going to do anything different here. It's the same setup as we normally would do to hit a straight shot. We're not really going to move the ball back. We may move it back marginally, but to be honest, we don't have to. The sensation of the hands staying low leads our hands a little bit forward here, and it keeps the loft down on the club. So we're basically pinching that ball through. We're not trying to hit down on it and then hold it. We're just swinging through on a nice shallow path, keeping the hands low on our finish. So like I said, the punch shot or the lower finish is something that's probably more beneficial with the shorter irons. So what I have here, I've switched to an 8 iron. I'm going to show you how to play this shot. And what we'll see is same ball position. The sensation of these hands staying low will sort of keep my hands ahead of the shaft a little bit more through the strike. That's going to de-loft the club. I'm not trying to thump down on the ball. I'm just trying to get through to a finish right here and keep those hands and the club face feeling like they stay low. I will probably use a little shorter backswing to match up with the feeling that I'm going to have a shorter follow through. So let's try it with an 8 iron. Similar ball position, similar address, similar everything. A little bit shorter swing and an abbreviated finish where my hands and club feel low. Hi, I'm Bradley Hughes. If you want to play better golf, come see me at bradleyhughesgolf.com.